Got a special show for you guys today. It's Saturday. It's Mark Pires. And it's Renaissance Man. I'm here to ease my mind and help my living. It's Renaissance Man. It's the daily variety show, Mark Pires Renaissance Man. I'm here to connect with you, to amplify your current state. And I'm here with you on day 1,125 in a row of the Renaissance Man show. And we're going to get into it just like we do every single night, fam and friends, but we're actually here midday today. Special show because my very good friend and musician, connoisseur, drummer, and we're just going to get all into this, guys. Danny Coleman is here. He has 2 radio shows, Rock on Radio, and Danny Coleman's Got the Blues. Let's get him on the air. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Hey, Danny, you there?
Oh, yeah. How are you?
My brother. Good to see you. There he is. How you doing, pal?
There we go.
I had something here. No, it's not working the way I had it. I had something here that was actually working pretty well. Let me see if I can go back to it because this was pretty cool. I worked on this before the show today. Check this out. Let's see if this works. Bam. No? Nothing?
Is that music you or me?
Ah! Do you hear music? Is it still? Is it got? Okay, so that must have been coming through my Zoom. Is your audio? Just curious. Your audio sounds a little muffled. I don't know if you have a. Are you using a mic or just through your phone?
I'm not. I'm using actually a.
Oh, that's better.
A Yeti.
That's better right there.
There you go.
So
how's that?
Good. How's it going, Danny? So it's good to see you.
Fantastic, Mark. You too, my friend.
What's it
been a long time?
I was going to say, what's it been about a little over 2 years since this pandemic?
Yes. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, we had plans. When I went on Danny's show, it was very kind of you to have us on to discuss the beat seat, and we hit it off. It was funny when Laura and I were sitting there with you, we went from music into Renaissance Man chat pretty quickly. After about 45 minutes, we just started talking about, getting back to the soul of humanity, and it was kind of cool that we went there. I looked at Laura at one point. I said, "This is cool." At the time, I was called Real Talk. I said, "This is real talk," And so I'm really thrilled to have you back on the air. I always thought, anybody who's put their heart and energy into getting somewhere and continuing that process, that is somebody I'm always interested in chatting with. And you actually said something in our conversation that really interested me. You said, if I quit today, I'd never know if I could do what I really wanted to do and when I could complete the mission that I always knew I could complete. And that's the matter of determination and continuing to show up every day. So without me saying another word, can you tell us a little about yourself, how you got into the music industry, and we'll go from there.
Well, I've always been a musician. I've been a musician since I started playing the drums at about the age 11 and a half, I guess. But I started the radio programs, Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio, because after 20 years of being a UPS driver, I couldn't do it anymore. My back gave out. I had 4 herniated discs, blood in my spine, needed surgery. And I thought, well, it's time to reinvent myself. Let's go back to what I love. And it was a combination of things, actually, Mark. And because I started thinking about it, my whole life, I did things to accommodate other people. And that would be, I gave up being a musician full time when I was a kid to get a job because my parents were like, well, you're not going to college. You need a job.
Yeah.
Well, I have a job. I'm a musician. No, you need a real job, kind of like George Thorogood, get a haircut and get a real job.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I got a real job, and then I was married and I stopped gigging out to accommodate my now ex-wife. Then I started working for United Parcel Service to provide for a family. So it just all kind of snowballed. And when my back gave out, I said, you know what, this time I'm doing this for me. And that's how I started the radio program, which led to my journalism career, which led to another radio program, which led to actually today is the third week of a third radio program that I've got. I've got a spinoff of Rock on Radio called the Rock on Radio Indie Hour.
That's
So
awesome.
I play nothing but the independent artists that have sent me music over the last 13 years, literally from all around the globe.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. When you run through all of that, you got 156 songs you could play on this from this platform.
I know. I saw that last night, actually.
Yeah, I was playing you just a couple of randoms, but realistically, it's like it's so hard to choose. I sent one to a lady the other day whose daughter's a singer-songwriter, and she's doing very well. She's like, "Oh, send me a song," and I realized no matter what I send, every genre is different that I write because it's how I feel that night. And so I don't have any idea until the guitar's in my hand. And we've got folk stuff. We've got like hip hop stuff. We've got blues. We've got all different ranges of music, but it's all in the moment. And I think that's something I remember as a musician as a kid, and you as a musician too. I wish I could have found a program where they were writing songs live for me and say, hey, okay, hey, write one about this. And then the dude would do it. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing here. So let's just keep doing it, and you just tell me what you want me to write, and I'll give it a shot. I had something ringing around my head for you, so let's gonna see what I can come up with today. I'm not sure how much time you have, but at the end, I have something that I just been ringing around my head. I got to try and see if it works out as a nice little intro for you for your show.
I look forward to it.
So you played drums. Do you? I know you still play. Do you have a band that you're working with currently, or are you just kind of more focused on radio? And you have 3 shows, so I understand that if you're focused on only that.
Well, it's a little odd because since the lovely COVID pandemic hit, my gigs really dried up.
Yeah, I know.
And literally just 2 weeks ago, a gentleman named John Abbott asked me to join his band, John Abbott and the Blues Monks. So I've been performing. We've been rehearsing a little bit. I got another call about another band just today about another playing in another blues band. So
that's great.
Things are picking up a little bit.
That's awesome.
And I love it. And I like it. I like it a lot.
But
were your ears ringing? Because this guy wanted to know if I would be willing to, if I had a cajon, and asked me if I did any kind of duo gigs like that. And I said,
wow.
No, but I know a guy. It's got this product called the Beat Seat.
Yeah, that thing.
So I told him all about the Beat Seat.
I'm glad you said something about it. It's funny. I see people still are so up, oh, I got a cajon. I'm like, eesh. It's like 2 tones. Like you have 2 tones, and they're not even very, the bass is never deep on a cajon. Like I've never heard anything in my life that's ridiculous. It's a kick drum in a box, and the shape allows it. It's deep, and we talked about on your show how it's almost like an amphitheater in there. So you have all these different tones. Like sometimes I'm listening back to even one of the songs I played for you yesterday, the 2021 Living in the Stone Ages. The riff I put together on this beat seat just very quickly in the loop is so powerful, and it sounds like toms, you hear shakes, you hear all kinds of crazy stuff. There's that's not one drum, that's a drum kit. Nope, it's the beat seat. And someone like you, I always said, why bring a drum kit? You know how long it takes to set up a drum kit. You bring a beat seat and your cymbals. Just set up a few cymbals in your beat seat, and maybe you get I heard the guy Tiger McNeil I played with, he had those where the chimes, where is it? And he would be playing his cajon, and he'd throw in a chime every once in a while. A couple little things, and you sound like a drum kit with the beat seat. A few people have actually turned their throne. They use a beat seat instead of a stool now. And so
wow.
they've got percussion and they've got drums at the same time. And that's actually brilliant if you think about it. You could take it at any time. And then you can have your kit as well. So, and it's the perfect seat. So it's kind of designed to be the perfect drum throne. So, so that's a new concept we hadn't really talked about when we came in to see you. But yeah,
wow.
we have to get you one, because I had the one in studio at the time. It was our demo. I was showing it off. I've got a couple. I think I even have the one I had in the studio with you that time back here. It was Thierry Arpino's for a little while. He works with Lisa Fisher, who's an amazing blues artist. And he's her drummer, and he played it at Blue Note in New York City, that actual drum back there. And I gave him a new one. I gave him like a beautiful one, all walnut. I wanted him to have, he's out there playing at Blue Note, and I want him to have like a walnut one, you know? So I took one of the newest models I had, and I gave him that one. And I took back the maple, and it's got a really nice snare to it, but it sounds powerful. And so we got to get together. I got to bring you a beat seat regardless, you know?
I know, and I got swag for you guys. I got swag for you. I got swag for Lara. I got swag for her sister.
Oh my
I got
goodness.
you guys all hooked up.
You're the best. You're the best. So let me ask you, how is you turned from rock to blues, which is the same, to me, it's the same, you know? I mean, it's all music and it's all powerful, passionate stuff. How has the vibe been when you went and you focused from rock to going to a blues audience? What did you find as far as how people were responding to the music?
Well, I'm kind of lucky because it's three separate entities, but one brand.
Okay.
So I still have Rock on Radio, where I still do what you were part of, where I take an indie artist and give them 2 hours to come in studio and perform and interview, and yeah, kind of like conversation like we're having now, relaxed, and just to find out a little bit about them and their music. The blues show is an hour-long music show, and I do that out of a local community college here in New Jersey, Mercer County Community College. But it's on 2 FM stations, and it's also online as well,
Okay.
simulcast online. And then the indie show I do strictly from where you and Lara came down to the studio. I do that from out of there. I actually pre-record that.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I just shipped it off yesterday for today. It's on right now, 3 p.m. It's on coaradio.com. So,
and your shows
yeah.
after, because the good thing about, so what you do with your shows, if I recall, is you take them and then they're syndicated around the world from there to different channels, correct?
Yeah, Rock on Radio has 12 stations in the US and the UK, that 12 total, that re-air the program somewhere after Sunday evening, anytime between Sunday and the following Saturday. It'll re-air that program. There's one on tonight's 2 o'clock. It came on. It's 7 o'clock in the UK. It's on right now. It's on Saturday afternoons over there, Rock on Radio. The Blues Show airs on the 2 FM stations here in Jersey and online, but it also airs on a station out of Indiana called 502 excuse me, Fallen Angel Radio, and then again on City of Angels Radio, coaradio.com.
That's
Thursday
great.
and Friday, and then Monday is the new one.
Now, have you found it as challenging? Like you said, going out and playing gigs has obviously been a challenge, because even if you can get the gig, getting people to go out to watch the gig is a whole other deal that I think that this country did a really good job scaring people enough to not leave their homes. So there's no pay. And if you get paid, it's very little. It's more doing it for the passion of it. I think there's some therapeutic value to that, especially if you are making a living some other way, if it's with radio or if it's real estate, and you could go out there and express yourself, even if it's just for a few dollars or whatever, or for free even. So, you know, just to express that emotion that needs to be let out of you as an artist. I think there's a therapeutic value. Do you agree?
Well, yes and no. I agree that so many people are so scared of living or dying right now that they stopped living, which is really sad. I think due to the fact that we have far too many sheep, so to speak, you're not going to get the crowds that you once got. It was tough before a pandemic took the world or took the area to get people to
even go out,
come to gigs.
You're right.
Because so many other things that distract individuals, whether and it depends on where you're at in your life. If you're a young kid, you're not going out to see an old guy's band like mine. If you're, in my age bracket at 45 to 60 range, you're not going to You're not going to go out every weekend. 7 o'clock comes. I'm not
Yeah.
leaving my backyard. I'm going to sit here and have this margarita. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
So then throw a pandemic in where you've got another division. Well, I'm not going if I got to wear masks. Well, what's the difference? Well, I'm not. And it just puts a whole new strain of pressure on the performer. And the bars, I know a lot of restaurants and performance venues right here in my area didn't bring entertainment back, or didn't bring it back to the scale that they had it before, because they can't afford to pay, and they don't want to pay what they did before, or pay at all, if there's only going to be 20 people in the joint.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I actually think I'm thinking now that you say this too. When I was playing before I retired, so to speak, I did my most successful tours when I left where I was and I went out and played different parts of the country. And I realized, looking in hindsight, that's the only way to succeed in the music business. You cannot go in one local area and play every single weekend and expect to be successful, because just like you said, no one wants to see you more than once every once in a while. They just don't have the time. They're focused on too many other distractions. And so you need to be the guy who gets in your car and says, I'm playing in Connecticut today. I'm playing in New Jersey tomorrow. I'm playing in Philly the next day. I'm playing in DC the day after that. And then you do it again the next month, because those people then are like, oh, he's coming back. But if you're there, and I was in Connecticut, I did this, so I know this is accurate. I played 5 times a week in Connecticut, all over the place. And I'd be like, why isn't anybody ever showing up to these shows? I'm killing it. I'm writing these great songs, but nobody wants to go out and see you more than once, at least, unless they really, really love what you're doing. Most people are like, okay, I'll come in 6 months. I'll come see you again. So you got to hit the tour. You got to create some sort of tour, which I found always very difficult. I didn't have a booking agent, so I was doing it myself. Probably should have just pretended I was some other random guy. Hey, this is Phil Smith. I just want to see if you want to book a guy.
Well, you know what? You're 110% correct on that, Mark,
You think
because
so?
I was in a 10-piece band. The name of the band was Boss Radio AM Gold. And what we did was, there was 10 pieces. We recreated a faux radio broadcast from the glory days of AM radio,
Oh, that's
using the
cool.
music of 62 to 76 right on stage. I was the radio voice. So we went boom, 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 one song into the next, just like you would hear on radio. We had a screen behind us that played the old commercials from the day. We would intermingle the jingles between songs. We gave away transistor radios. We talked about those kind of things.
Wow.
And we would only play once every few months, because every time we did, we'd have anywhere between 300 and 700 people show up. And the venues loved us, depending on the size of the event. We had one bar that they were turning people away because it was too small and people couldn't get in. And we just decided, well, we can't play there anymore. So we started playing local casinos here in the Delaware Valley. We were playing right on the Delaware River, next to the Yankees AA farm team, right next to their stadium. There's a place right on the Delaware River, had a big outside deck, would hold 700 people, and we were packing it.
Wow.
So
I think,
but that's because it was still a novelty. Now, like you said, you play 4, 5, 6 nights a week in the same area,
nobody wants to.
your attendance is going to go down.
And then you're not even reaching really that many new people, because you need to be the one bringing the people in, as you pointed out, to these venues. Because, they're like, okay, we got Mark coming tonight. He's bringing in 30. No, well, I'm bringing in 50. Well, no, because the 50 came yesterday, and they're like, I'm not going again. You're there. So I think, and this gets me thinking, I think I'm going to do one show a year. I'm going to do one show a year in Connecticut. I'm going to do it and see who just try this as because I played so many, and it was like, and I remember the excuses would be funny. Like, I'd talk to my father after a gig or whatever. He'd be like, how was the show? I'd be like, well, I played really well. I had a great show. I wrote 3 songs or whatever. I'm like, it was a killer show, but there was like 7 people. He goes, oh yeah, but it rained tonight. Like there's always an excuse like, oh, well, maybe it was because, but no, the excuse is, oversaturating a specific area with great music means nothing. You need to oversaturate the entire planet with it. And you need to find a way to get someone to say, I can't wait for that guy to come back. Or I can't wait for Danny's crew to come back with that screen to do that gig. Because there's a gimmick to it, but there's also a pull. And you know what? It's funny that I'm saying everything here that has everything to do with truth. And the reality is I've been live for 1,125 days in a row. And if I probably took the same philosophy of just going live once a week, I just the show would probably do really well, but I'm like, no, I keep cramming it down everyone's throat every day.
Yeah, but you've got that going. Everybody expects Mark Pyres to be
that's true
live tomorrow.
That's
true.
True.
I didn't catch Mark yesterday, but maybe I'll catch him the next day. But when they actually have to get off the couch or leave their backyard and maybe pay a $5 cover charge or a $10 cover charge or dinner or whatever it is, sometimes they're not so, especially in the summer when people are flocking to the beaches and are on vacations, and it's not always easy.
No, it's not. And that's why I like that concept. If you are a young musician listening and you're thinking about touring, you should try to start making calls out of state and line yourself up a tour. And I know it's difficult because there's not a lot of money in it. But if you want to gather a new group of people to know you exist, that's probably the best way to do it. Because even in social media, I find unless you hit a specific narrative, I'll say that as gently as I can, but unless you hit a specific narrative currently, you are unseen. It's not even just if you're a truth speaker like this show, but if you are not pushing that specific narrative they want pushed, they don't put anything into the algorithm to help anything. So it's a weird time in history where they're directing all the traffic at trying to get people to do something that they want us all to do. And it's become the focus and the fear. And, the biggest problem I have with everything going on in life right now, and this is what we talked about earlier, is it's all a distraction from the moment we live. It's intending to keep us away from living this moment so we die without ever finding the greatness within, is what I see. I don't know. It's like every day we want you to focus on this instead of finding that uniqueness within. Like, why live in fear? You got to live or you got to die, but you can't live in fear at every second of your day. So I can't go there because there may be people. We ate in a restaurant a week and a half ago. We had it without masks. I mean, we're still in Connecticut where everyone's masked. And I'm like, look, everyone else is talking about their bugaboo or whatever, and I'm still the guy who's very skeptical, and so is my family. And we're there in a restaurant, and we're out without masks eating, and we're saying, look, we're not going to stop living our lives. We're hungry. We went out to eat tonight, Right. But the reality is everyone's at risk in 2022. So it doesn't matter what you did to think you were getting yourself prepared for anything. It's just, the goalposts keep moving, and I have a problem with one thing. It's like they use this word misinformation right now. It's like a big word. Everyone's getting like Joe Rogan was just labeled this and they want to cancel Joe Rogan. Everyone's trying to cancel Joe Rogan for having some scientists on to have a conversation. Now, Joe Rogan, I guess, misspoke on something, and he said a stat that was wrong. They've been blasting him about being misinformation the entire time. Why hasn't anybody said, this whole definition of whatever misinformation is, you could characterize that as anything being told to us for the last 2 years from the top. Oh, no masks. Oh, now you got to wear them. Oh, you have to wear 2 of them. Now you get 1 shot. Now 2, now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't that misinformation? They told us one thing and it keeps changing. That's misinformation. To me, someone speaking their truth and being skeptical and asking questions, that's not misinformation. Asking other scientists what their opinions are, that's not misinformation. That's what scientists do until 2021, 2022. Now it's only controlled information and everybody else just blasts. I got banned from TikTok last week for a week because I was talking like I talk, and some lady came on who I think's a paid shill, and she started calling me names and saying I'm a liar and I'm a misinformation. And I'm like, how could you say that? I'm just speaking how I see it. I'm speaking my truth. How can you say that anybody speaking their passion is misinformation? In fact, that's the only truth there is in this world. They may not have all the data correct because they're not scientists, but they're feeling the way they feel about what they see, and that's not misinformation. That is the only truth you should be paying attention to. Not what. And here's the other thing that I think very, very true, and no one wants to pay attention to: the loudest noise in the room. If you're the loudest in the room and the loudest sound in the room is going on, like someone saying something, it doesn't make it the truth. You could have everybody in the room saying something, but it doesn't make it true. If you know it's not true, it doesn't make what they're saying true. They're just loud with it. And that's the thing people keep, you can have 100 people who say, well, look, I trust what I've been seeing. And that one person says, well, I saw all this other stuff. What you're seeing doesn't mean it's true. And that's where we get caught up, is these people start blasting others as misinformation when the reality is they could be the misinformation themselves. I think really they are, but, that's just the way I see it. And so we have this division in this country, in this world, really. It's become, and if we step back for a second, Danny, this is not even about America anymore. It's about every country, and they're working together against their people. I joked, I said, World War III is not a country against country. It's the countries against the people. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, but they're all against the people. The people don't want what's going on here. I don't know any countries in the world that are like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. Let's shut everything down. Let's get every child in the world to take this thing when it doesn't stop spread. That makes a lot of sense. Like, that's the biggest one I have a problem with. I've got young kids, and they're saying they want every child in the world to get in this and get an I'm like, wait a second. It doesn't stop anything. This is the first time in history you're having everybody take something that doesn't stop the thing you want to get rid of. And so this is why I get in trouble, Danny. This is why I get in trouble.
The funny part about that is they want us to take these things that doesn't stop this thing and then blame the healthy people for it not being
good and stopping. Right. Yeah. And it's so weird because we can't even talk about it. It's like, I saw a brilliant thing earlier, and I think I'm going to do this on TikTok. There was a guy hosting a debate. He wasn't saying a word. He's just the guy, and he let two different opinions get on, and to hear all these paid shills and people just getting on there being like, oh, you're putting everybody else in danger. And people would say stuff like, this is the first time, like, why is your thing that you took not good? I don't understand it. You took it. You should be good, right? You took it. You're good. You shouldn't care what anybody else does if you took the thing that protected you. No, but all of a sudden, the people who didn't take it are a danger to you who took it. This is the stupidest thing. Twilight Zone it. Twilight. It's just like.
I mean, think about it. Even if you've got it, and you got
the thing,
the thing,
yeah.
And you could still get it and still give it, why are you allowed to go to a Broadway play, but the healthy guy isn't allowed to go simply because he didn't get it?
Exactly. And to take it one step further, you just nailed the other thing on the head. You could have 30 people who have that big white card there saying they're all good to go, and they become the card-carrying super spreader. It's like, what are we talking about here? Oh, goodness. I really feel like, and I don't know if this is just a dream, some weird dream, or a simulation. I really feel like it is, because for people to be this stupid and to believe that anything they're seeing is accurate or makes sense at all, I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone, or at least in the Truman Show. We're at least in the Truman Show.
Somebody else said that. Actually, the producer of my radio show, Claire, she said that. It's like
Claire
the Truman
rocks.
Show.
Yeah, we're the Truman Show.
And it's funny. I sit back and down in this area, I'm about an hour south of New York City by train.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about 40 minutes to Center City, Philadelphia. So consequently, growing up as a hockey fan, I'm a Flyers fan. Now, my children and I will go to several games throughout the course of the year. My kids are in their late 20s now. We'll go to a game. Well, Philadelphia just passed, starting January 1, that you can't eat indoors in an indoor facility unless
you've got that thing.
You could produce the card. And I said to my kids, well, that's the last hockey game I'm going to because I can't even go in. I can't get in.
Yeah. It's insane.
And they and now granted, the product that's on the ice is not very good for them this year. But I've been a Flyers fan my entire life. Even when they're not very good,
Yeah.
they still, attendance is in the 95% range. Right now, they're only at they're down
I'm sure.
about six or 7,000 fans, 8,000 fans a game. They used to be in the top five in the NHL now, and all of a sudden, because nobody can go in if they're not,
Yep.
fixed.
Corrected. Corrected is probably the best way to say it these days. Well, the thing that I think is the funniest about this entire thing is, and I've seen a lot of memes like this where people say, "Oh, wait, just wait for the fourth. That's the one. The fourth will do it," And then I got this car. I bought the Ford Mach-E. It's that Mustang Mach-E all electric car, and I bought it in end of July, early August. Okay. And I've had nothing but problems with this thing. It's a first series. It looks great. You know how many people want to talk to me about that car? Oh, that car, is that the new Mach-E? Yeah. When it drives, I've been in the shop 5 times and now it's in the shop for the last 3 days. They don't know what's wrong with it. It died while I had 41% while I was driving. It just stopped driving. And now I just told the lady there, I'm like, this is a lemon. So she sent me something saying, here's information if it's a lemon or a buyback process where they'll have to give me a new car. I'm like, I want a car that doesn't have to go to the shop every 3 days. They also had to drag it onto the lift, all-wheel drive, drag it on because the car was dead when they got there with the lift. So I'm like, you killed my transmission. I know there's one gear, but whatever's going on is not good with that car at this point. But so my theory is this: anything in history, you can look back and someone tell me if I'm wrong. Every single thing in history, the first series had great intentions, but it was crap. It always had bugs, had issues. It had some things that needed to be worked out. We are dealing with a first series thing here that they keep giving the first series to people again. Hey, take another first series. Take that first series thing we made and here's the third, fourth, fifth. Why aren't you updating any of it? Like, this is the craziest thing. This is like junk science. And then when you say stuff like that, they're like, oh, well, you didn't follow the CDC. I'm like, oh, Dr. Weasel Fauch. He's Dr. Weasel.
He's doctor a lot of things. Fauci Stein.
Fauci Stein. That's a good one. I like that.
It's insane, and what it does and how it affects what musicians do or don't do. 90% of people who are musicians can't collect unemployment because they work for themselves.
Yeah.
They can't. They don't even have benefits. A lot of them because they make enough money to basically pay their rent and pay. So when you're a gigging musician and you depend on that several $100 or $1,000 a week or every couple of weeks to pay your bills, I've been in that position. I know.
Yeah.
When I lost my job because of my back injury at UPS, I was unemployed for 3 years. The only thing I was able to do was play the drums. And that even took about 6 months. So for 6 months, I had zero income. And I mean, fortunately, I had some cash in the bank, but you have to stop the bleeding. So once I was able to start playing, I was able to pay a lot of my bills from what I was making. But when those bands either dissolved or, I was in one case, I was replaced, things happen.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Now, how am I going to pay my bills? So,
well, I think that's
it's not easy. And these politicians who all are either lawyers or come from wealthy families, for the most part, they don't care. They can shut everything down because they've got tons of money stashed.
Well, not to mention, let's talk about the most important detail. They could shut everybody down. They're still getting their $193,000 a year from us. They all get paid while they shut down. We get shut down. Our business is shut down. You entrepreneur, I'm entrepreneur. We're out there trying to, I have to sell real estate, whatever it is, you got to create income. And if you can't, music is a great example. For real estate, I say, I can't go out and network anymore. I can't get out there and shake hands with people, have a conversation and let that that energy that happens when you meet people, I can't do that anymore. So the well is dried up when it comes to finding new clientele, buyers and sellers because of that. That hurts the real estate business. For musicians, that's a very good point. Musicians in general are just making enough to keep going because they're passionate and creative. They don't really care about all the other intrinsic details and getting, a proportion of Ferrari. Maybe if things go well, they'll think that way. But in general, they just want to keep creating. They want to get their bills paid for. And when you can't continue on because no one's going, the fear-based campaign hurts everybody across the board, all businesses. And the only people it doesn't hurt is the people who run this country, and they continue to push it on us. It's crazy.
Well, take that even further. Let's say you're a visual artist. You can't go to a gallery. You can't go to anything that has to do with the arts is always the first to suffer in economic downtimes.
Yeah.
Look what they do. Just look at your local school system. Oh, we got to cut music and art because, either that or we got to raise your taxes. What about, do we really need a tetherball team at this high school?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. It's always music and art.
That's so true.
And it's the arts that always suffer. And when you start shutting down entire cities and economies, it's tough to make a living in the arts anyway.
Yeah.
And I can't really sit here and say, oh, I'm not crying boo-hoo because it's a path that a lot of us have chosen. But we've chosen knowing that we're going to struggle on our own, not be held down by some totalitarian regime that thinks you should stay in the house and not see people and not do this. And there's people out there, I'm sure right now saying, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's an anti-vaxxer. No, I don't care what you do.
So
you want to put that crap in your body? Go ahead.
Exactly.
But don't tell me and don't shut down the entire world. I have friends who own restaurants who are struggling. Yeah. There are several bars that I know just in this area never reopened since March of last year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. All actual physical brick and mortar buildings, any business that's in a brick and mortar establishment has suffered since the beginning of this. And it's only getting worse because now each week there's a new thing. Oh, we have the stealth. Ugh. So the Omni wasn't strong enough, so we need to have another one. Okay, I get it. It's like, it's so clear. You could see the playlist. It's almost like when you go to watch a football game or hockey, and as a hockey fan, you may be able to hit this one better, but the play that's coming. You're like, he's coming down. He's going to do a one-timer. It's Eric Lindros. He's coming down and he's getting a one-timer. He's coming. And then all of a sudden, 5 seconds later, you get a one-timer. You're like, I called it. You told your son, I called it, Lindros for the one-timer. But you just knew it because you've seen him do it 50,000 times in a row. That's what I feel like we are right now in 2022. It's like, okay, it wasn't strong enough. So guess what? There's another one coming. And within a couple days, I started hearing, we have a stealth. Oh, stealth? Ooh, Danny, we got a stealth one out there. And the other thing that baffles me, so every time any of them have been out here, we hear this. This is the most contagious thing in history. It's like the next one. This one's 15 times more contagious than the last one. I'm like, what are we talking about? And I don't think I've ever heard the word tenfold or fold be used ever in any other time in history where they use the word fold on everything. You just say times, like 32 times, so you're going to be 50 times more effective. It's got a tenfold effect. Tenfold? Where are we? What is this? All the terminology, everything's changed in order to keep us, like you said, just being like, oh, okay, that seems okay. Like they just try to continue to manipulate, and they hope that the people who aren't under psychosis will continue to start. I mean, maybe that. Yeah, I guess that sounds good. Let me listen to Dr. Weasel Fauci, and this is what he says this week. I don't know. It's just weird. They say that there's a part of this population that's very easy to control, like a 40%, and then there's 30% that you could never, ever hypnotize. And that's us. Okay. And then there's a 30% that's out there that's like, look, I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm a little concerned, and I'm going to do some research. I don't know if they're right. I don't know if they're right, but something feels off. And that's what we have in this world. But there's that 40% are those idiots who came on and they're like, oh, this is misinformation. Like, you can't deal with people like that. They're Karens. They want it. My philosophy in life is when we were younger, if we didn't like what someone was saying, we grab the remote control and you click the channel to the next. Nobody needs you to be the monitor. No one needs you to be the hall monitor, okay, and to be the moderator for social media. This lady felt it necessary to pull my show down because I was speaking passionately. By the way, the entire chat was going, this is truth. This guy's speaking truth. This one lady comes in and pulls my platform down. She had the power to do that on TikTok just by reporting me as misinformation. And while I'm live, Danny, I get a thing that says your live has been terminated for misinfor. I was like, oh my goodness. I had 350 people on with me and they were all like, enjoying the conversation, and she took it upon herself to moderate and to ban me from the social media platform so nobody else can hear my dangerous rhetoric. Woo! So that's where we are right now. Karens control the world.
Yeah, well, and that's because there's not enough of us who are willing to take the hit and stop it.
That's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in the military. Those guys go to battle for us, and without them, as a taxpayer in the United States, the only full-time benefit you get is a military, so that while you're sleeping, somebody is protecting us.
That's true.
But you're right on so many levels there with what you're talking about, and I don't know what the answer is other than to stay true to my beliefs, and not encroach on anybody else's. Unfortunately, everybody else wants to encroach on mine, so
yeah, right.
I stand up where I have to, and I back off where I don't. I saw a post today on Facebook before we went live. A musician friend of mine, very liberal, but that you know what, he wants to be liberal. That's his thing. Okay. But he was talking about how if all these people like Neil Young and now Joni Mitchell want to remove themselves from Spotify, Spotify will just be a few podcasts of wackos. And I'm paraphrasing the post. It was a meme that he put up, and it kind of struck me funny because all these musicians jumped on the post saying, "Yeah, screw Spotify and F Spotify and Spotify, anti-Spotify." Now, 13 years I've been doing rock on radio. It'll be 13 years in April. From the time Spotify was launched, which was probably about 10, 12 years ago now, maybe, right?
Yeah.
These people would come into my studio, and these musicians, oh yeah, I can't. I'm hoping to be on Spotify. Oh, Spotify's great. Oh, I'm on Spotify. You look at their social media. Oh, I got 30,000 spins on Spotify. I got 30,000 downloads. I got this. I got that. Now they're all anti-Spotify because it's cool and thing. I keep using the air quotes because it's because it's the popular thing to do.
Well, could I also point on, just to add on, what strikes me as more interesting about this is, as artists, the last thing you want is to have your content censored and to have it suppressed. And to know that they are down with Spotify suppressing Joe Rogan's show or stopping his show and giving in to the will of literally a conglomerate of elitists who want to stop his message. They're musicians. This is the people who remember what Public Enemy did? I mean, this is crazy to hear musicians that are going against the freedom of speech, and they want Spotify to give in to some 250 idiot scientists who know nothing, who were obviously paid, because there's 1,600 scientists who signed a bill asking for things to be looked at. No one wants to talk about them. They want to talk about 250 like random scientists who have a problem with Joe Rogan. It's like, you know what? How many scientists and doctors are there in this country? I could find 250,000 that would say Joe Rogan should be heard. Just, it's a doctor who says, it's a guy who speaks. Yeah, I don't know what he speaks about, but he says anybody in America should be able to speak their freaking mind. This is the weirdest world in history to hear artists wanting to see another artist suppressed. Whoa.
Well, what I found funny about that whole thing is that Spotify has never treated their artists with any kind of dignity or respect when it comes to a monetary payout.
No, not at all.
Spotify pays you, you need like 10 million downloads or hits or whatever it is. I don't even know because I don't have anything on Spotify. Well, I have a podcast on Spotify, but it's housed at Anchor.fm.
Yeah.
It's also available through Spotify. I've never gotten a check. Now, granted, I've only done it a handful of times, so I don't expect a check. But I have friends who are comedians who their material gets, viewed or downloaded or hits. It's like every couple of months I get a check for like 25 cents in my mailbox.
So sad.
You need like 10 trillion spins of your or views or hits of your music to get a check for whatever it is. It's insane. It's that they barely give you any kind of revenue. So now to see all these musicians who have been abused monetarily by Spotify, but yet that was the greatest thing in the world to them. Oh, I'm going to be on Spotify. I'm going to be on Spotify. I'm going to be. Now to see them turn around and say, oh, Spotify stinks and Spotify is this. Boy, forget Spotify. I'm standing with Neil Young. It's maddening.
It is.
Because before Spotify was the greatest thing, but now it's hip to stand with Neil Young, and they all abandon the platform that they crave to be on like that. And the part that I'm trying to figure out is why I grew up listening to Neil Young. I just don't know why he thinks he's relevant to anybody under the age of 50 right now.
Well, I think that was his misstep.
For that matter. Half the people alive today don't even remember Woodstock.
Yeah. Well, I think that was his misstep for sure. He has 6 million listens a month on Spotify, but they just spent $100 million on Joe Rogan. That was a huge misstep on his part because they're not going to get rid of Joe Rogan. $100 million, investment in the man. And you know what? The idea of his program, which was already think about it. He's on as a comedian, having other people on, debauchery, the conversations they have, a lot of F-bombs left and right. They talk about dirty, dirty comedy. That's where he comes from, the Comedy Store in LA. They brought him on knowing that. So he says one thing that's off color. You know how many off color things have been said on that show that no one gave a crap about? It just happens to be that it's about this topic. And he said something that they don't want you to know about. But guess what? Everyone wants to know what it is that he said now. It's like they have the reverse effect. Every time they think they're doing a good job to suppress something, they in fact are causing people to want to see what Joe Rogan had to say on it. I mean, you know how many views that video of him and Dr. Malone have? Probably a lot more than they would have if they just let the guy go. But because they make a big deal out of it, and because there's a huge group of people that know that everything that's being spun out there is a lie, they're now forced to look. Like I have this new theory, and I wrote a song about this called "I Don't Want to Read It Unless It's Got a Fact Check." That's the song. I got to find it. It's on my phone. I did it about 3 weeks ago. And literally, I will scroll and look for fact checks now. And I'll be like, oh, there's a fact check. Let me read it. And that's it. If I don't see a fact check, I'm going past it because I know it's a lie. When I get to a fact check, I'm like, maybe there's some truth here. Because I know the only things that are fact checked are the things that they don't want you to think are true. So, and then you start looking at them, and here's a great example. The other day I saw this thing about how in Pepsi and all these different products that they are now using from the liver of from fetal liver. They've used stem cell. Apparently, they can mimic the taste buds of in order to get better tasting things. Pepsi's been using this since 2011, okay, and other products too. And so this was on TikTok recently, and someone was saying, don't drink Pepsi, don't drink whatever the other products were. These things it's like, what's that movie? Soylent Green. Soylent Green, it's people. It's like you're eating stem cells of a fetal stem cell line. And so immediately, I just was like, let me check this out. 5 or 6 in a row. Fact checked. No, the Pepsi did not. But if you look back and you say, okay, well, let me screw these 4, and you keep looking, in 2011, CBS puts out a report, And the whole thing's cataloged, and it says, we reached out to Pepsi and to Simonex, I think is the name, Simonex or whatever it was called, for a response, but neither responded. But based on reviewing the patent records, 81 of the 88 patents all use the stem cell line. So I don't want to hear fact checked and it's not in there, because in 2011 they looked at the patents, and the patents say 81 of the 88 patents are all revolving around using stem cells. So it's like the lying is that it's egregious. And it's like the people who actually read the fact checking are like, oh, this is real. They pulled 4 or 5 of my shows off of Facebook last year because I was just talking like this. And then I'm looking at what they would fact check me with underneath. The CDC, the WHO said, and the articles that they would reference had nothing to do with the thing that they were saying I did wrong. And they'd reference a point 8 months before. You know how much stuff had come out in that 8-month period? They don't even care. They fact check you on something that was released that completely is contrary to what you say, even if what you're saying is true. Oh, well, we found something here that says that you're a liar. You know?
My question is this: who checks the checkers?
Nobody. That's the thing. The checkers are the hired by Mark Zuckerberg. Think about that.
There you go.
I call him Zuckerchooch for a reason. He's a Zuckerchooch.
And it's just, we're just in a screwy time, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's and we could sit here and get on our soapbox, and people are probably looking at us and moving on when they hear what we're talking about, or they're riveted to their screen, one or the other. But
yeah,
right now, I think we're at that. We're kind of like, that feeling you get sometimes when you have this ominous feeling something's going to go wrong.
Yeah. It feels like that, right?
There where it's like I don't know what's going to happen next in this society. There have been people I've had to remove from social media because I had a guy ask me one time, and this is the honest to God's truth, when I told him that I wasn't pro mandates because my job was threatened because I wouldn't take my day job that I was threatened because I wouldn't take the vaccine. And I said, okay. I said, that didn't deter me. If you want to take it, you go right ahead. But that's not for me. My body, my choice. And he private messages me and asked me if I believed in abortion. And I said, no, because I believe there are other options. And being a Catholic, I don't agree with it. I said, but I would never tell a woman that she couldn't have one or that she should have one, because that's not my business. That's her, but she's got to deal with the consequences, and whoever made her in that way has to deal with the consequences. Not me. I would say, look, there are other things you can do, but that's your choice. You do what you're going to have to do. He called me a hypocrite
for saying that. What you were saying in the both instances, you said both instances, your body, your choice. Because you said I want to be what I want.
I was a hypocrite. He called me a hypocrite.
Oh my goodness!
And then used words that my ears were burning. And I used to be a truck driver.
Jeez.
So, and I just said, okay, goodbye.
Well, that's what you have to do. And I realized that lady on TikTok, so she kicks me off the platform for 7 days. And then she goes on to one of my messages. She finds one of the songs I uploaded. She goes, what happened to this guy? She goes, this is what you should be doing. Stay away from the politics. And I thought it was nice she at least found one of my songs and said, like, this is really good. Do this. Don't go in the politics. So I said, and she said, you didn't give anybody a chance to speak. And I said, in fact, you must have gotten there late. I had 3 conversations and we both had a point. My point was, look at Antarctica. That's all I had said every time someone had anything to say. Like, if we all got it, we go back to normal. Like, Antarctica. Did you hear about Antarctica? You should look into it. It's crazy. They all went there. Nobody had it. They had 5 tests to get there. And then all of a sudden they had an outbreak there. 33 people in the most remote place on the planet, all bugabooed. And they got an outbreak there. So I don't want to hear this. Well, if everybody got it, we go back to normal, because Antarctica proves that wrong. And so does that one place in Ireland. And also there's another country in the world that's 100% fully bugabooed, and they had an outbreak. So we have now 3 instances that prove that this thing does not effectively work the way they said. And that's the other thing. Why doesn't anybody fact check Fauci for saying effective all the time? He says it every time he gets on the air. It's effective. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. Effective means it works. I mean, it stops. What's effective mean? Well, you don't go to the hospital? That's not effective. Effective means I didn't get it after I took it.
Are you sure he's not saying infective?
Yeah, he's probably just safe and infective. I think you're right. It's safe and infective. That's so funny. Holy cow. Dr. Weasel Fauci. But I think you're right. Sometimes it's hard to stay on topic because there's so much destruction out there. And you're right. It's such a polarizing subject. Either people are on and they're like, yeah, Mark, or they're like, screw you, Mark. So it's very hard. You can't just have a conversation anymore. And that's sad. Like even Howard Stern just said a couple really, really terrible things last week. And I have to question him. I've always respected him. But when you start saying, let the unvaxxerude die, who cares about them if they're not going to do what they need to do? But the reality is, and I'm just waiting, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm just waiting to hear one day that he's like, oh, I got COVID. He's going to go out there and be like, oh, I got COVID. Robin, I got COVID. And they're going to be like, what? Oh, Howard, I thought you were good, And the reality is we are all on the same page in 2022. Whether you got it or you didn't, you could still get it and share it. So for him to go out there and tell that people should die really baffles me. It baffles me. I'm like, I thought he was a smart guy, but then he says something that's just so completely contrary to what's been going on for the last 2 years. Like, it's not like you guys got it and all of a sudden you haven't gotten it anymore. Everybody else is going. Everybody else who didn't get it is dying and getting it. They're the spread because we had this whole the plandemiru of the unvaxxerude. I try to change words so we don't get in trouble. And so they're blaming it on the people who were skeptical. But the reality is, the card means crap. You're a spreader. You're getting it, just like we were saying. So this entire thing falls apart, and they keep pushing the same message. When the cards have fallen to the ground, and like this is a crazy thing. A government falls, and then there's that one guy walking through the streets is like, hey, you, get back in your house. Hey, what are you doing? We're still in charge. That's what it's like. You know what I mean? It's like the cards have fallen. Everybody in the world is seeing that this thing is a disaster, and they're still up there being like, hey, you, go and get your shot. Go get another one. Let's get the fifth. And it's like, whoa, I can't even believe the insanity. I can't even believe it.
Howard Stern baffles me because here's a guy. I sound like John Madden. Here's a guy. Here's a air personality who made his career and living by being rebellious and not falling in line and not, drinking the FCC Kool-Aid. Here's a guy that, how many times did he get fired from WABC? Once there, once in Baltimore. Didn't he get fired twice? I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but he was definitely, so I don't
want to put that out there, but this gentleman has been removed because of his rebellious nature and his refusal to comply with the rules. So for him to go out there and say things like that just baffle me. Just totally baffle me.
The other thing, though,
because he realizes his grip on the ratings is starting to slip after 25 years. Or
that's
30
what I was
years
thinking,
or whatever it is. No publicity is bad publicity, right? Controversy, throw it out there.
That's what I was actually just thinking when you were saying that. I'm like, you know what? If you think he just turned like 60 something, 70, or I don't even know how old he is now. But the reality is he's on a platform that I'm not sure how many people listen to XM radio. I don't pay for XM radio. And so he's on a platform, and he's a very smart guy. So now I'm thinking when you're saying that, he's so smart that he may realize what I realize. And I've said this. I said this to the family here. I'm like, if I just got on the air, guys, and I put as my title for a week in a row, go get your bugaboo. It works. It's not only safe, but it's effective. And I put that every day for a week. I'd have 1 million people watching me on a daily. Because they would be like, oh, here's a guy. He's out there. He's giving them what we need them. So Howard sees that. And he says, if I go out there and I get on board, it's the pylon. If I go and I get on the pylon, I'm Howard Stern. I already got the eyes are on me. But now I'm getting behind the media. and I'm going to be like, oh, screw all these guys. And that extra push of being on board and using the platform he already has gets the extra algorithm push. Now everybody's talking about it. And like you said, now all of a sudden new people want to see what Howard Stern has to say because he's now on board with this whole get rid of freedom thing. The guy who spoke out and was rebellious in order to show his uniqueness, in order to become Howard Stern, is now part of the propaganda. Wow. Wow. I guess you sell your soul at some point, right?
Most entertainers do.
It's unbelievable. I think Howard sold his soul. I mean, honestly, I can pretty much be certain right now that Howard would have been doing the same thing as Joe Rogan if it was 15 years ago and Howard was in the same position. But he got his $500 million deal. He doesn't need any more. Something else going on. They've got some dirt on Howard. Guarantee it. There's no way that this dude would be saying that because he's a smart guy. He said what he said because he's a smart guy. He said stupid things because he's a smart guy. Like, holy cow, I can't believe we just figured this out, like live on the air. It's a big sham.
He built his career out of being controversial.
Yeah.
Whether it was a TV show and or the women or the guests or the way he conducts himself.
Well,
he built his career out of being controversial. So why not now?
And here's another beautiful add on to that. Just looking at what they're doing to Joe Rogan, he knows that if he actually took the opposite approach, they could actually destroy Howard Stern. Think about that for a second. If Howard had the nerve to bring Dr. Malone in and ask a question and say, well, I heard something I thought I read something that said, and that wound up being not correct, Howard would have a chance of having his career demolished. So what would a smart, brilliant guy who's destroyed the media industry his entire life do? Well, let me get on board. I can't say anything that's going to get me in trouble here. And so the first time in history, he's not doing, he has zero backbone, and he'll keep pushing whatever they're saying in the mainstream until it's over. So if Fauci comes and says something tomorrow, that's what he'll keep saying. He's going to keep taking the script that's sent to him. I feel like he's working off a script, and I think they have something on him. They must have something on him. I don't know.
Interesting theory there, my friend. Interesting theory.
Seems like we nailed it together, buddy. I don't know. Look, we're not saying, look, I think we both have a respect for the guy for his journey to get where he did. But at the end of the day, for him to pile on and to see the way that anybody who speaks against gets the shade and gets suppression, even though they're just passionate and speaking, asking questions. It's weird that we're in a world you can't ask questions.
It's kind of funny. We just solved these issues. I had a friend that we used to solve all the world's issues by drinking tequila, and that's it. Now look at this. I don't even need tequila.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's funny. This is the first time in history that I think even the solution to all problems will be completely dismantled because they don't want a solution. They want a new world order. They want to put together a one world government, I believe. It just seems like they're all working together. I even saw Trudeau yesterday saying something like, we're going to continue to follow science. I'm like, he's not. When you go out there and you say we're going to continue to follow science, but then you go completely the opposite of what the science is saying based on 2 years of more cases now, everyone's got it and they're all still getting it. Oh, we're going to follow the science.
Well, maybe he meant they're going to go back to using leeches. Yeah. Because that was science at one point.
Is Keith here? We're leeching it. I have a whole bit about leeches here, Danny. We do a whole thing on leeches. But yeah, you're right. I mean, leeching it. That's what they used to do back in the day, right? And they bloodletting and stuff like that?
Bloodletting. Sure, that's science. Let's do it.
Let's go back to the, gold. We are in the Stone Ages, right? Hey, if you get it, just go in your basement for 10 days. Hopefully you don't die. Like, what do we do? We're here 2 years later. You're telling us not to die in the basement 10 days later? Like, I don't even understand how we could be so stupid as a society to not take vitamins, to not want to test. Like the other thing that baffled me, I'm seeing, so for 2 years they had vilified these two, I call it medicaciones, that there's been many studies that have shown the one that's hydro and the one that's got an I in front with a tin at the end. Those two things have been very, very effective, like lots of studies. But then you'll get Dr. Weaselfeld saying, well, it's anecdotal. The reality is this. They vilify those two because they're 20 cents each. Now Pfizer and the other one, Glaxo, they have these two that are coming out, which are probably the same as Hydro, the same as IV. And those are just ready to go. Oh, we're going to get those out to people. Why are those okay? They're ready to just ship those out. They haven't been looked at. Those are okay to give to people under an emergency. But the ones that have been tried, true, proven for years, one of them won a Nobel Peace Prize, by the way, the one that's got an I and a tin at the end, mectin at the end. Those things are proven to work, and they're vilified. You can't get those. It's actually almost impossible to get in the United States, okay? But you can go and get the one that's made by Pfizer, the one that's made by Glaxo, these new pills that they're coming out with in a couple of weeks there that are that's what these are, antiviral. This is the same. I'm just trying to figure it out. And we know it's about this. They said something that $12 billion in the music industry last year. And I guess that's like a yearly thing. Elvis, Michael Jackson, everything. It's $12 billion that the music industry makes all over. Every single artist in the world, music industry, record labels, $12 billion. Last year, I think Pfizer made $46 billion on this, guys. Almost 4 times what every musician in the world made, what Elvis made on his catalog, 4 times that. Oh no, they really got our best interest in mind.
Well, Springsteen just sold his catalog to Sony, right? For $500 million.
Smart. Get the hell out. Take the money.
Yeah.
You know?
So
here's the crazy thing. You know what's crazy?
Discussion once, Mark, with a gentleman back when I was still working for United Parcel Service. Guy was saying something about a running back actually, I think it was for the Giants. Signed a contract for like $50 million a season.
Wow.
So this is going back probably about 20 years, right? I could have that figure wrong, but it was a very high contract. And I looked at him and I just kind of shook my head. He goes, "What, you don't think he deserves it?" I said, I'm not sure anybody deserves that kind of money to play a game you played growing up as a kid.
Yeah, that you love.
He said, well, their career might only last 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. It doesn't matter. They could be out of a job. I said, do you know how long it's going to take me to make my first mill? It's going to take me 20 years. At the time, I was only making 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
I said, 20 years. This guy's doing it in 3 snaps. I said, this is why your ticket prices went from, $10 a game to 10,000. It's insane. But like my friend told me one time, excuse me, Mark, I have a Victrola. I have a 1910 RCA
cool.
Victor Victrola.
That's cool.
Okay. And him and I restored it. It was my grandparents when they passed away, and my mother and my uncle were selling their house. They let us all take something, and I took the Victrola. Him and I were restoring it, and I said to him, "What do you think something like this is worth?" And he looked at me and he said, "Danny boy, whatever somebody's willing to pay for it."
Ain't that the truth?
And that's what we're in now. Whatever we're willing to pay, what we allow is what will continue. So think about that.
Yeah.
Whether it's in our daily lives, our job, whatever it is, what we allow is what will continue.
Well, I think that's a good point. I try to get into just the basics of where we are a lot of times, just realizing that I think people are so frustrated and so scared that they feel they'll put their trust in people who've consistently shown us they can't be trusted. And they'll continue to hide, and they'll say, well, one day we'll get through this if we all just do what they say. And the problem with this is we've learned now this is absolutely not the truth. And in history, the people who are in charge that tell you to do what to do, and like, hey, you do this, don't do that, those people are usually on the opposite side of what's right. And it's in history, it's been true. Like they try to control. It's not about the people. The big issue I've always had with this is it's being controlled by the pharmaceutical industry, okay? Now, why do they want you to be healthy? I'm just going to leave it at that. Why do they want you to be healthy? And then
there's no money in being healthy.
There's no money in them being healthy. And then also on top of that, you cannot do a thing. You cannot sue any pharmaceutical company if anything goes wrong. That's just because they signed something. They didn't want to make bugaboos anymore if the United States didn't sign this. the reason why they have a hard time with other parts of the world is that those people haven't signed away their indemnity. So they're very careful outside of the United States. Here, they push everything on us and we just let it happen. But the scary thing about that is money controls this world. And there's a great clip I saw the other day of some classroom, and there's a teacher gets up in front of all these kids and she says, look, it's time for us medications are the best thing we could ever do for our, and we got to make sure we do it. And they're like, oh, well, who's in charge of that? And she's like, the CDC. And she's like, and one kid goes, well, what happens if someone just like calls them and says they want them to do what they want them to do? She goes, well, they wouldn't do that because they're run by, the government organization. She goes, well, what if they pay them a lot of money? And she's like, oh, well, no, they wouldn't take it though. And she's like, well, how do you know? And it's these little kids asking like honest questions. And the lady's like, and it was really, really funny because that's where I feel like we are right now. These people are the ones making decisions for the entire population. The entire population has no recourse if anything goes wrong. And they're saying words like it's safe, effective, and they have no long-term studies. All these weird things are going on. And these people, there's no reason for them to make something safe because there's no issue. You can't do anything to them if something goes wrong. And then fast forward, they hope they get through this 2-3 year period and you forget that you threw that in your shoulder 6 times. Because when you get the autoimmune thing that's coming down the lane in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you don't correlate that it had something to do with you doing, oh, well, no, it's been too long. No, I'm sorry. This is why I continue to maintain my stance, which is to allow people to do what they want with their body. And I say that to people, if you did it, good for you, but don't tell people that they have to go do the thing that's not stopping any spread. That's the stupidest thing in history. Like I got in an argument with someone who said, well, if people didn't take the polio vaccine, and I said, yeah, the polio vaccine stopped polio. Next subject. What do you want to talk about next? What do we do? You want to bring up polio again? Polio stopped with the polio vaccine. It took 46 years for them to create that vaccine, not 9 months. First series, Ford Mach-E. It's in the shop still, Danny. But I as far as it goes for the music side, I do want to say it's really such an amazing thing to see that they've shut down this individual freedom thing and everything shifted away from arts. You said it, how they pull it away in schools, but even online, the focus is not on arts anymore. Like nobody wants anything that keeps them smiling. They want to be in an argument. Like if you go on TikTok, the things that have the most people in the chat watching are when people are arguing about politics. It's like, oh, we know you're both wrong, most likely, and like, in fact, I'll hear a lot of the same stuff I say from people. And I'm like, man, these people get it. Like this guy who did the debates earlier, everybody who was on saying what you and I are saying, we're saying the same exact things that you and I are saying. And I'm like, this can't be coincidental that everybody is like completely split right down the middle like this. This is so intentional. And it's split so far apart. These people are idiots over here, Danny. They're freaking idiots. And I'm like, what world am I living in? And then I'm like, is everyone over here paid? And they're like, we have to make sure they all did. I just don't get it anymore. It feels really weird to me,
Yep. Such is the world we live in.
Twilight Zone in it. We're Twilight Zone in it, Danny. Oh, goodness.
Such is the world, which is why I try to bring people a little bit of happiness through the power of music.
That's what you do.
I try.
No, you do. Absolutely do.
I don't know if I succeed, but I try.
No, you do. I mean, when I was in studio with you too, what I noticed off the bat is you start the show off with a nice positive message. And even if you guys, because you're not watching, he's live as well. You should go and subscribe to Danny's other channels. But when he starts the show, it's very similar to the way I start my show. I noticed he had a smile on his face when he says the first thing out of his mouth when he's starting his show. He's got a smile on his face. And in general in life, if you lead any conversation with a smile on your face and you had your eyes closed on the other end of that phone call, you could tell the person's smiling. You could hear it in their voice. And so that's just to show the level of commitment, but also the love that he has when he's out there, has that microphone, he's ready to go. And that's why I love doing this too. It's like that smile comes to our faces the moment we go on air and you can hear it. The energy comes through the line. And at the end of it, like all the other random stuff we're talking about is a distraction from what this is, which is this beautiful thing, this energy we all share is what they're distracting us from. And politics, religion, all these things stop you from having real conversations, human conversations with people. And like, how do we level up? It's by doing kind things for each other. It's not by ripping each other down and saying your opinion's wrong. Nobody's opinion's right. We're all being told so many different things. The reality is that we need to lift each other up and we need to say kind things to each other. That's it.
Nobody's opinion is right because it's an opinion. But
exactly,
it is ours. There are two things people can't from us, and that's our feelings and our opinion. Nobody. One of the terms I used to hate, and I used to say this to my kids. Yeah, but they made me feel. No, they can't make you feel anyway. You felt that way on your own. You can choose not to.
Yeah.
You can say, okay, well, that's how you feel, but not how I feel, and you walk away. Look, in this business, I have tons of liberal friends, and the ones that I am closest to, we always agree to disagree, and we have had spirited debates. But at the end, it's like, all right, come on, let's go get a beer. I'm done talking about this, and that's
best. That is the best.
And I don't try to convince him to feel otherwise, or they don't try to convince me to feel otherwise. They want me to see their point of view as I do. I want them to see mine, but in the end, you're not going to change anybody's mind.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things you're not, and you can apply this, and look, you can apply this to just about anything, Mark, whether it's this whole pandemic, what side of the fence you're on, liberalism, conservatism, racism. People are always going to have their opinions. You're never going to eliminate an opinion.
So true. Well,
and it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. If you don't like somebody based on that, that's your opinion, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about it. You can try for, fairness in the workplace and fairness and so on and so forth. But people are people. We're human. We all err. We all make mistakes. We all have opinions. We all sin.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to change somebody's mind by forcing them to take these classes in elementary school. We're forcing them to take these classes in high school. We're being indoctrinated by some college professor.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
We are who we are. And it's how you were brought up, how I was brought up, with a sense of right and wrong. And that's it, really, in a nutshell. People need to just mind their own business and leave each other alone.
Well, that's true. But you bring up a good point, because we go into a world where there is a lot of manipulation, and it's really on us as parents in order to raise our children to be able to diagnose situations. And to just be able to look at things for what they really are and say, am I getting the truth? Because remember, you may go into a room where the loudest perception or the loudest perspective in the room is not the truth. It's just what everyone is saying. And you need to be able to listen to all information. But I do think the most important thing is when they're trying to divide us, we need to find a way to come together. And the reality is it's all division. They want everybody hating. On Facebook, you'll see all the posts from people on the opposite side because they want you going like this with each other. And I think that's weird. They should put you in line with the people who are in the same camp with you and not try and start fights. But Facebook makes their money on having people online and watching ads. So they'll continue the negative spin as long as they can. I think that if everybody would stop suppressing all information and just put it all somewhere and say, look, there's all these studies. The CDC likes these studies. They don't like these studies. But this idea that they're picking and choosing and all these things are going on is a very, very scary thing. Just red flag after red flag when you have to find out something through a VPN. You pull it up from a different country, but they're not looking at it here, so to speak. But at the end of it, you said the most important thing. You cannot change anybody's mind. At all, guys. And I want to be clear with that. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I'm just trying to say how I feel about being controlled. And as a musician, I feel like free speech, and especially in music, free speech is the most paramount thing to me. I don't want anybody taking my songs off. I've got a lot of songs about society. Leave my songs alone. I wrote those songs. That's art. I don't care if you don't like it, you change the freaking song. But the idea that you want to pull people's music down or a platform down because you don't like what they're saying, change the freaking channel. Very simple. Everything else in this world would be simple if you just change the channel when you don't like something.
Well, I think we're also dealing with an element that you kind of touched on there as well. Something that we don't have. Now, when I grew up, I was old enough to remember the end of the Walter Cronkite era on CBS. And then, Peter Jennings and the people on the big national news networks.
Yeah.
They were the people you trusted. And trust being the key word here. They were the people you trusted for information.
Yeah.
The CDC, you trusted. I never even heard of the NIAH or NIHA or whatever Fauci's in charge of. The World Health Organization didn't even exist. They're just ways to funnel cash, as far as I know. But the CDC was, you trusted these organizations. Would you, as a musician, you're in a band, okay? You're the guitar player. I'm a drummer. Would you ask me or hire me to play drums for you if you couldn't trust that I would show up to the gig?
No. Well, also, if I couldn't trust that you could play well enough to play with me, same type of concept. You're right. Like,
so there's the trust factor.
Trust factor. Yeah.
We don't know. We as people today, again, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. We can't trust. We can't trust our cable news outlets. We can't trust our national news outlets. We can't trust our friends next door because they may feel a different way and stop talking to you. We can't trust anything.
It's true.
And that's a sad thing that I think we're in right now. We can't trust who to believe, who to listen to, who's telling the truth, or what path to take. Do we get the bugaboo? Do we not get the bugaboo? We don't know. There's not enough trust in anything.
Yeah.
And I'm really, honestly, Mark, I don't know how we fix it. I really don't.
Yeah,
I don't know how we fix it, other than, again, I try to bring joy to people through my radio programs. Here it is. Listen to some music, relax.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what's going on outside for an hour or two.
That's actually what we've been saying here too, is just shut off the distraction with a positive distraction, And I think we have to do that because there's no changing this. At least the reality is, if we could affect positive change in our own platform, that is doing the job that needs to be done, because these are large issues we have no control over. But I do think that what needs to be understood is every single person out there is unique. So if you are out there and you're saying, I don't like what Mark's saying, it's okay that you don't like what I'm saying, because you're unique. And if you respect the fact that you're unique, then you'll respect the fact that I have my own opinions and my own beliefs, and they may not be the same as yours, but you should respect the fact that I'm not an automatron robot sitting here saying the same thing that everybody else is. I should have my own heart, my own mind, my own feelings, and you should say, that's cool. I don't like it, but that's cool because you're someone who speaks his mind. But the idea that you get mad when someone speaks their mind is the weird thing of 2022. So I say this to you: if you're out there and you're getting pissed at people who are speaking their mind, change the channel. Remember, we're all very confused. A lot of people are scared and they're just trying to talk their way through it. Stop being the Karen moderator who feels like you need to pull things down for the rest of the world and you're some Captain America. No, you're not at all. Because just because you're in the camp of the loudest ones doesn't mean you're the truth. And the people who are so-called the lower voices in the crowd, because they're being pushed down, I think it's a bigger crowd, to be honest. I think that crowd that's being pushed down is bigger than the other side, massively. And I think Raven said something here that's true. There's a lot of people that are making a lot of money to go on the air and fight people who are saying things that are contrary to what they want you to hear. And so we have to be cognizant of that. Like that lady who was on TikTok who pulled me down may have been someone literally who was paid to do that. Like anything you see online that's going to hurt our agenda, you need to pull it down. You need to start a fight. You need to, whatever you can, you're making money for it. She was saying such stupid stuff. I'm like, she's obviously, bah, bah. I'm like, what? We're 2 years in, you're saying that? Like, so I think that we have to be cognizant that we're all getting a lot of information. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to fight in order to create that animosity. But if we could shut off the world for a little while and listen to some music, play some music, laugh for a little while, that's what we're trying to do, and leave the rest of it behind. Leave the rest of it behind. David H., how are you, my friend? So, Danny, Danny booked a 15-minute appointment, guys. We're an hour and 23 minutes in. That's what we do here on the Renaissance
Are we that
Show.
fast? Oh, wow.
Hold on, I want to actually see. I told you I had something ringing around my head. Last night, I'm getting ready for the show, and I'm thinking to myself, I had this new concept. Anybody who comes on the show, I'm going to write a song for them in real time, and hopefully it's something good enough you can use. But just thought it would be cool to at least give it a shot for everybody who comes on. So I'm not even sure if you have an actual intro or if you just use someone else's random song when you play, but let's see what I could come up with. Coleman's got the blues. Go on home and lace them shoes. You got them driving tunes. And Dan Coleman's got the blues. Shoot, yeah, dancing all night long, coming across the airways, yes. Down there, Coleman got the blues, yeah. On the rock, on the radio. Lace up that shoes, yeah, you got the blues, yeah. Catch me on the air, I'm putting it out into the atmosphere. Oh, Danny Coleman's got the blues, yeah. Danny Coleman's got the blues, yeah. Lace up them shoes. Got them driving tunes, yeah. No more room, can't change the channel, no. Yeah, for the show, 'cause Danny Coleman's got the blues, you know. Yeah. Tuning in every night, yeah. Danny Coleman's got the blues, yeah. Yeah. Danny Coleman's got the blues. Oh, my brother.
Improv in action.
Improv in action. Let's see what the heck that was. I'm not sure if it was any good, but it's worth a shot.
Hey, fantastic.
Ah, my brother. Well, I appreciate it. Actually, so this is what I sang it, and that's different than what I sang because I still didn't find what I had. But this is what I originally thought of. Listen to this. I had the hook. That's what I want to go with. Dun, dun,
There
dun,
you
dun, dun. Listen to this.
Danny Coleman's got the blues. You're lacing up them dancing shoes. You got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues.
I gotta do that. That's better. I gotta find that. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna write that, and it's gonna be a full. I hear a bass line for it and the beat seat and everything, but I'm like bam bam ba-dun, dun, dun, bram, dun, ba-dun, dun, dun, ba-dun, dun. It's gonna be hot, and then you're gonna have a horn section in there like wow, bam 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 bam. Daddy Coleman's got the blues. I'm gonna have a guy come out of nowhere. He's gonna start punching people like you know. I don't know. We're like you go into the mosh pit. That's the vibe we're going with. The Danny Coleman's got the blues, you know. No, I'm just kidding. That was just a fun thing, but I think I'm gonna actually create that second one that I sang because that would be a pretty cool thing to send to you and see if you like it enough to play it ever at some point during the show. I think it'd be a good intro,
like
to be honest. Oh, my brother.
Hey, before you let me go, can I have a website since the last time you and I were together.
Please share it. Let everybody know where to find you.
I want to give a shout out to my engineer, Art, who puts all my shows together, or puts all my shows on COA radio and produces or engineers Rock on Radio every Sunday night. But I also want to give a shout out to my producer, Claire, who puts all this stuff together, maintains my website, which is DannyColeman'sRockOnRadio.com, or there's a quick link, which is simply DCROR.com.
DCROR.com.
You go there, you can find out about Rock on Radio, Danny Coleman's Got the Blues, my Chili Empire, anything in my podcast, anything I'm involved with, you can find it at Rock on Radio, DCROR.com.
Guys, do me a favor. Check out Danny. Give him a follow and subscribe. He's also on LinkedIn. So find him and support. Again, he's out there just bringing great music, blues music, rock music, independent music to the ears of people who need to hear quality music again. You know, there's not a lot of platforms out there that are playing straight up music. You're going to hear country or whatever. You need to find someone who's giving it to you straight. So Danny Coleman does. My brother.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that
You're
very
awesome.
much.
Listen, and we still talk. I got to bring you a beat seat. And if there's ever a slot where I can bring my pedals and you know, play a bunch of songs, and I would do something different. I'd come and write a bunch of songs. You call people in and say, what do you want a song about? Just like we just did. But you have someone call in and say, hey, write a song about whatever. And the whole show would be writing songs for your viewers or for your listeners. And I know you have a lot of call-ins too. We could do that and just have someone give a bunch of topics, and I'll just write 3 or 4 songs during that hour. And instead of it being, or 2 hours, whatever it is, I'll play maybe something I've written, but I like the idea of taking.
If it wasn't taken, we could call that night at the Improv.
Night. How about you could do blues night at the Improv. That's a new one, right? Blues night at the Improv, and we'll go all blues, live blues improv night. So we'll chat about that more offline. But listen, I'm so thrilled you came on. It really means a lot to me. And if you ever want to come back again, you have say a 4th radio show, for example, and you want to promote it, anytime, buddy. It's always great seeing you. And let's not forget about that other me coming on, because we'll have everybody come watch the show, and I got to bring you a beat seat.
Anytime, my friend. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for having me on. Say hello to Lara for me and your family, and anytime.
Say hi to
anytime
Claire.
You want me back, and let's make that happen. We talked about that earlier. Let's make it happen.
For sure. Say hi to Claire. She rocks, and we'll see you soon, buddy. Thank you again for your time.
All right.
Guys, Danny Coleman, Rock on Radio. That's my brother. All right, let me click this off so we can get back and finish up the show. Danny, you rock. Thank you, buddy. I'll see you soon, okay? Awesome, guys. So, interview for today in the books. I'm having an issue here. Hold on. Is that still happening? There we go. Oh, guys, so we're here, snowstorming it. I don't know how much snow we have right now, but it's a lot. was great having Danny on, guys.
Twilight Zone. You're in the Twilight Zone.
Aren't we?
Whatever I do should be okay with you.
Guys, I gotta get an album out in 2 days here for you, so I gotta get this song on. It's gonna be hard. I have to erase something. We'll erase Twilight Zone. It's over. Figure out what the hell this is. try to get the vibe I was thinking of earlier. I don't like it. Let's get the hook in.
Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman got the blues. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Yeah, got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Yeah, got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving tunes. Said Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. You got yourself them dancing, driving too. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself them driving too. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. You got yourself driving to Danny Coleman got the blues, yeah. Getting dancing shoes on, yeah. Gonna go for a ride, yes. Danny Coleman's got the blues. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Got yourself driving to Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Yeah, you got yourself some driving tunes where Danny Coleman got the blues. Yeah, lacing up your dancing shoes. Oh, Danny Coleman got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. You got yourself some dancing shoes. Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes. Yeah, you got yourself some driving toys. Danny Coleman got the blues. Yeah. Oh, Danny Coleman got the blues. Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, stick around for a little while, my friend. I'm writing songs live in the moment. Can I give you a topic, or can I write you a topic? See, Turkish blues player Yavuz Setin. Yavuz. Yavuz. Let me play something for Aaron.
Danny Coleman's got the blues, lacing up your dancing shoes.
Oh, thank you, William. Appreciate you, my friend. I'm going to play you guys something here that's actually was written the last year. I wrote it here live in the moment. Let's see what it is. I'm not sure what I'm going to play for you yet. Guys, interesting. Yesterday we put up this, and it got, I think the last I checked, it was at 748 views, I think. Put it up last night before the show. And this is just a little goofiness right here, but just to take a quick gander. Check this out over here. What are we doing, Mark? Oh, you're a celebrity impressionist too, sir? Did it. I did it. Sometimes we do it. That's weird. Why is it? You guys hear that at all? They already know. That's right. Oh, that's why. It's not on the right speaker. Shake it, baby. Did you guys see this? Trying to log this in. Is this playing? Do you guys hear this at all or no?
Never vote for a sleep sofa. Nobody likes sleep sofas. You don't even want a freaking sleep sofa anymore.
I'm out of my mind. What did I do there? Uh-oh. Get out of there. I'm back to my screen. Give me back to my screen. What are we doing over here? Where is my screen? Are you serious? I don't want this. I want to go back to my screen. Hello? Where am I here? What is going on over here? Does anybody still see me? Am I still on the air? My computer's restarting right now randomly. Don't know what that's about. But we're 2 hours, 2 minutes into the first show, day 1,125 in a row, fam and friends. Let me play you a quick track here. Something I wrote in the last 6 to 12 months. There's 156 songs that were released last year, 12 albums, one album each month, 13 songs in each album. We're doing that again this year. And I have to get that out in the next 2 days. So I'll be working on that in between shows, figuring out what songs to go on. I've got enough to put out an instrumental album. I didn't work on any music this month besides write. I haven't even edited any of those songs. They're all on my phone. I got about 30 songs. I got 3 albums ready on my phone for this year. I haven't even edited any of them. But let's put this on right here. Don't Breathe. You know, I'm going to put this on because this is a song about an alien invasion. I wrote this, just, I don't know. Someone told me it's talked about a song about aliens, so I wrote it. Don't Breathe. It's on one of my albums. It's only 50 views for this. What? You got to be kidding me. Only 50 views for this? William, give that a like and a share, buddy. This right here is called...
Now it's 1995 clock.
This right here is called Don't Breathe. It's an alien abduction story. We don't always know if we're going to create something that is good enough to go on the album. But we come out here every day to create something. So...
step at night. Don't look for them as they wander by. Don't make eye contact with the light, 'cause it will drag you in, beam you into the light. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. You can't breathe. No, you can't breathe it. You're yeah, hold it long as you can. If you exhale, they're going to find you. And we don't want that. No, no telling what they're gonna do. Going to probe you. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Love. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Don't breathe.
All right, that wouldn't have been my selection to play is the first song. But anyway, I played it. It's there. It's done. I'm going to play this one for you because I have to go walk these dogs real quick. This is called Everything is Possible. It's the name of one of my albums. I think it's album 7. Let me see, actually.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook
Okay,
Promise.
Nicole, you shouldn't be speaking. I already took you off the air. This right here, you guys can buy physical copies of my albums. This is When Normal Returns. This is a great album here. Double disc, double decker. Signed, 2 areas signed here, back and front. You can order them on markpirescrypto.com, and all of these songs are on albums. You could also get them on Spotify for free if you want to listen first. And if you like it enough and want to support the show, you could do that. Check out my Patreon if you want to join and support this family on Patreon. Almost all of your each dollar will go right to me as a creator. YouTube screws us over, but that's just because they're YouTube. But this right here, guys, let me know what you think. Everything is possible. I love this tune right here. About to get a bass line and beat C combo. Looping. Here we go.
And suddenly the rain starts pouring down. It's covering me from head to toe, and I can feel my soul start to quiver. The pensive man will always find a way, going to look from all angles and gonna find a sliver of hope. Yeah, watching with your jaw on the ground. They do it, I couldn't figure it out. That seems impossible. I told you before, that's not the word, no. It's apostrophe missing there. I'm possible. I'm possible. I'm impossible. When you walk across the street and wondering where you got to be in 15 minutes, but you keep going 'cause your heart tells you got something desiring in you got to make it there. You won't stop to get your share. Get it? The beat keeps on rocking through the night. Keep talking like a clock. Gonna not sleeping anymore. No, I got to keep on going. You got to keep on going. You got to keep on going into the night, into the day, into the face of darkness, hey. Anything is possible. Don't listen to the noise, no. Anything is possible. If you put your head down and go. If you put your head down and go. People keep saying you don't got what it takes. You got to show them that you're earthquake. Yeah, you're gonna make that world. Yeah, you got to get up, give it your all. Nothing gonna stop you if you gonna give it everything you got. If you give it all you got. Possible, yeah. Nothing's impossible, no, not anything is possible. Nothing's impossible, no, anything is possible. Nothing is impossible, no, anything is possible. You got to do up and go, you got to give it your all. You got what it takes, no, you got to keep on, not to be take. Not that gonna stop it, not to get in your way. Yeah, you just got to show, no matter what they say, got to go. And you got to go, and everything's possible. Yeah, oh, say everything's possible. Oh, yeah. Everything's possible. Oh, yeah, everything's possible. Oh, yeah, everything's possible. Oh, yeah, yeah, I said everything's possible. Everything is possible. You put your head down and go. You got to get possible. Put your head down and go. Nothing gonna stop you, no. Cause everything's possible. Yeah, I say everything's possible. In the dark world, gonna every light gonna shine bright. Gonna take down that dark night. You're all gonna bring the sunlight. Yeah, we're gonna be so bright. Yeah, nothing gonna stop me now. Cause everything's possible. Whoa, 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 whoa. Cause everything is possible. Yeah, everything's possible. Everything is possible.
Oh man, that tune.
We gotta tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance.
It does have a bit of a reggae vibe, doesn't it, William? I'm not sure. It's so hard to figure out what
Drinking
any of
water
these
before
genres
bed.
are. Let me know what genre you think this one is. This is a really crazy tune I wrote about 4 or 5 months ago now called "Sign of the Times." I really am happy that I started adding the lyrics at the bottom because these are live writes. It's important to see what was going through my mind in the moment when these words flew out of me. When you have no script and it's a blank canvas on a daily basis, but you're not afraid to fail, these things keep happening. And we've been here 1,125 days in a row creating, and there's a lot of music for this world. Right now there's 321 songs in my music playlist, but that's not the only stuff. Like, that's the only stuff I cut and then released on YouTube. Every show, when I take that guitar out, we write 1 to 5 songs. So I may release one song from the night, and there were 4 others that I just won't get around to. So anybody who actually manages to somehow, in the history of time, go through all 1,125 days in a row would be able to tell me how many songs I've written since I started the show. But I'm thinking it's somewhere in the 500 to 600 range. We write so much here. I've released 156 to the world. So if my math is right, yeah, 500 to 600. Anyway, check this one out. Let me know what you think. I think this has got like a... Well, hold on. Before we start, I want William to know this. Yes, I'm coming live again tonight as well at 10 o'clock or even earlier. I think I'll go live at 9 tonight because of the snowstorm. I want to get on earlier just in case something happens late night. So I'll be on probably. I'm going to eat dinner. And then after everyone's settled, I'm going to come down and do the show earlier tonight for SNL. 2 hours, 22 minutes in right now, fam. So this one's called Sign of the Times, and it reminds me very much of, if I had to say this was a genre, I'd say this is like spoken word jazz, okay? And I did this live in the moment, and when it started to roll, woo, the lyrics on this one, guys, depending on where you stand, you may not like what I'm saying, but I'm saying what I say because I feel how I feel and I speak. That's it. Nothing can ever... You can't apologize for a live improvisation. That's all I can say.
We're here on Sunday night. The stars are hiding, no light shining. You see, they started a new experiment in the sky. Mr. Billy Boy Gates trying to redirect the sun. The chemtrails, they got us on the run. Not sure where I want to go, where I can go to be safe. Do I have to be messed up every day? Even when things are okay, from a CV9 day. And times, they're coming for everyone. So why are we so consumed with all the little things that can take us down? And all the big things that come at the end no matter what. So live it Live it for the moment you got. You've only got one shot in this body with this mind. It's time for you to step up and make your decision. What's it gonna be? It's up to you, you got to be. You got to be. One way or other, yeah, you trust in what you hear with your ears. Oh, you're giving up, you let all your fears take over. It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. A sign of the times. Oh, yeah. It's a sign of the times, yeah, yes. A sign of the times. Somewhere over the rainbow. Do you think that is possible? Or are we in a cataclysmic change of proportions we can't understand until it passes us by? We're in history books that talk about the way we acted and when it mattered most, how we treated each other, how we gave up on each other, how we decided to smother love instead of give it to each other, love one another. Yeah, we started to destroy word love. A sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. Used to have a VCR. I could put the rewind to set the walk and grab a chip, come back and still rewinding, and I got about 5 minutes more. That's fine, I keep myself occupied. Yeah, but right now you just push a button on your remote control. Yeah, you're like there, the movie's starting over. You gotta know anything you want. It just comes to you so naturally. You push a button and it's there for you. It's not realistic, no. You don't work for none of it, no. You're doing working out that thumb. Oh, you getting a real good workout with that thumb. Are you a righty? Are you a lefty? I'm thumbing that remote control. I'm changing the channel, yo. Oh, look, it's ESPN. Look, it's the PGA Tour. I don't know. Gonna watch the Olympics. It's on about 4, and I gotta check it. It's on Fox 5 tonight. Oh, really? I don't watch TV. Why? It's the Negatube. Yeah, I got nothing to do with it. Even when you're looking at the Olympics and you got people on their knees, they don't even have respect for the country they live in. Are you kidding me? I mean, what are you even doing there? Don't go if you don't respect the country you're from, so just get the frig out. I'm just saying, plenty of people stand there and cry when they win a freaking gold. And you're gonna sit there and disrespect the country that you get to live in? The greatest country on the planet? Oh no, there's a narrative. Oh, okay. You're freaking kidding me, right? It's a sign of the time. Yeah, yeah. It's a sign of the time. Yeah, yeah. It's a sign of the time. Yeah, yeah. Living by a lie. Oh my, we got the cameras on us. Oh, let's throw the makeup on. Let's start crying. Let it all drip down my face. Yeah, let's just create a race war. How about that? We do it every couple of years when there's an election. Oh, they did it again? You're erasing this country now. I'm sorry, it's fact now because they said it in the news. No matter how you are as a person, no matter if you treat people fairly, you love them for the way they treat you or how they are as a human, you're still a racist. It's the world we live in now. Everybody's so darn touchy. Yeah, nobody has a skin that's thick enough. Yeah, the frig is going on. sign. It's a sign. It's a sign of the sign. It's a 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 sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. Everybody's got some tissues in their pocket. They've got to cry all day and say, why me? I'm this new thing. I just made it up. I'm calling markpirescrypto. Yeah, it's this thing where I identify as markpirescrypto. And you can't say a thing because I identify that way. It's just how I feel. I don't care how you feel, 'cause it's how I feel. Yeah, you can deal, you can make a new bathroom for me. I don't know which one I wanna go in, so just make number 3. It's a crazy world we living in, yeah. It's a sign of the times, yeah. It's a sign of the times, yeah. The sign of the times. Now people out there are really mad I'm saying this. I'm sorry, but this is the moment that is speaking to you. And I can't change the way I feel. I love you all, but we don't need to categorize everyone, no. It's simple, you're a soul, so am I. And there we get along. On that we can sing a song. We can carry on. We can make another one. 1 turns to 2 and 2 to 4. Yeah, but when you start dividing it, there is no more. It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. So remember when you are being gaslit, yeah, that none of it is true. Yeah, they're all full of there. And if you want to take them at face value, then you got to do what you need to do. You need to run it through. It's the sign of the times. It's the sign of the times. It's the sign of the times. Yeah. It's the sign of the times. Time is a tip tap toe. Time, you know it's going to go. It's the sign of the time. They've been lying to you. They've been telling you. They've been lying to you forever. It's a sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. Love used to be a thing we cared to explore. And all of a sudden it seems like it is not much of a concern anymore. What about that hate? Can't get enough of that. I'll just throw some on my plate. I'll throw some chipotle on it and say it's hot enough. Make it hotter anyway. What's that? I hear something coming from behind me. Need to turn around before it get me. I swear I know it's coming for me. I don't know if there's a hiding place in here. I gotta look around before I see them peek their head round the corner. Before the night's over, you know there's going to be something that's going to be out of control. Sign of the time. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. time. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the time. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the times. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the times. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the times. Yeah. Sign of the time. Sign of the time. It's a sign of the times. Sign of the time. It's the sign of the times. Sign of the time. It's the sign of the times. Yeah.
Throw that freaking pick. Better throw that pick. You better throw that pick when you're doing it. You're doing it. I'm taking that song. I'm dropping shorts of that freaking song. Before the night's over, we're gonna be out of control. It's the sign of the friggin' times. That song should be all over the planet, just like all the other crazy society songs I wrote last year. Here's another one. I wrote this one the next day after Sign of the Times. Let's see what it is. It's called Fight Back, Fighting Back. I'm on fire with these crazy tunes.
He's crazy, guys. Oh, no,
Crisis
the
can happen
narrative
unexpectedly to
makes sense.
anyone. And though it may
Follow the narrative, it makes sense.
It does make sense if you have 3 brain cells. IQ short of 37. I don't know why it keeps doing this. decides to poke their head through the door, you gotta be ready to go. We're fighting back. We're fighting back. Taking one or two in the jar, yeah. Hit the canvas, start to see stars, wonder what you get into this ring for, and then you stand back up, get a roundhouse back to the ground. Rest your head after quite a beating, yeah, you're gonna need it. You needing another day or two to recoup and see if you can be you again. 'Cause right now you're just not you. You're broken down. You're broken down to the ground. It's not just your body, but your spirit fighting back. Oh, we're fighting back. Let's lift you up, let's make it right, 'cause you put out that heart of a lion, and that's the fight we need to see from all. And right now I'm not seeing it. That fight seems small, but we're scattered. We need to come together. We're fighting back.
gloves up again. This time you're ready for that combo. Left hook, right jab, uppercut. You got a left-right combo of your own to share. Yeah, you knock 'em down to the canvas. You got your hands in the air, thinking one like a Rocky. While Apollo Creed stands back up again. He says, I ain't finished yet, Rockman. Yeah, you're gonna go at least 4 more rounds with me. I'm gonna put you in the ground. Yeah, you can see I'm ready to take you on the Philly man. Yeah, I'm Apollo Creed and I'm the man. We're fighting back. We're fighting back. But Rocky, don't back down. No, you got the heart of the tiger. All gets up over and over again until his brain is damaged and he still keeps going 'cause he don't know the word defeat. They don't like you when you tell them you're not gonna play the games. We're fighting back. We're fighting back. We're fighting back. You know, we're going to keep going because I have another one I want to play for you. This one right here is how we bring
Crisis
everybody
can
together in
happen
this world. I wrote this song. I'm here in the background playing the little beat seat. If you guys don't know, it's the first drum you can play with your hands and feet. I invented it. Here is the link. She can't get over how many tones. I was talking to Danny about that earlier. I mean, like, all right, let's just play this one for you guys. This is a song called Help Them Find the Light. My songs are either about how crazy our society is or about us coming together. And about love, about how we can actually create a more positivity than the negativity out there.
It starts on platforms like this. We need to come together and laugh. We need to feel passionate music course through our veins and from one ear to the other, and forget about everything else that's sidetracking us and distracting us from this moment right here. These songs are meant to do that, to break you away from that malaise, bring you back to center so you can decide to do something amazing today with the rest of your day. So this right here is another one of them. Come on.
Day after day.
I can't. This is so annoying. All right, we're shutting off stupid YouTube. I'm gonna find it on my desktop. Hold on a second. Can't stand it. It's like, really? Let's just stop it mid-stream. It could be because there's a snowstorm. I don't know. But regardless, I don't like it. I don't like it. Help them find the light. Let me just type it in. I'm sure I'll find it. Do a little searcheroo. Oh, guess what I found? Bang, biggity boo. Sometimes when you're doing it and then you figure it out, it's a good thing. This right here, fam and friends, is help them find the light. Oh, where did it go?
Day after day, the news keeps getting worse. I can't stand the propaganda's all over my screen. I tune in, I open up anything from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you pick. Yeah, it's all the same thing. Yeah, they're plastering the images, trying to get the fear to take me out of my game. No, you can't get to me. You see, we're living in a higher vibration here. You see, you can't penetrate the light we're building here. No, we're going to keep on growing, going to keep on showing the negative world the way to the light. Help them find the light. Stand on the precipice of life, waiting for the knife to come down and cut you start running away from all the darkness that's sending your way. Oh, let's get away, show them the way. Show them the way into the light. Show them the way home into the light. find a way into the light. I'll find a way to the light. Everybody gather round, put your hands up in the air, wave your hands back and forth, yeah, but let it all out. Oh, reach for the sky, yeah, let it all fly, yeah, out your fingertips, yeah, you can scream it from your lips, yeah, you can let it all out. The universe is waiting for you. It's waiting for you. To ride. Your hands in the air, wave them around. Yeah, show the world you care. Yeah, you're not giving up like them. No, I'm over the hatred, the fighting, all of the perpetual hate. Yeah, let's put it down in the ground. Yeah, let's bury it 6 feet down. Yeah, let's move on. Let's drop the frown. Let's turn it around. Yeah, let's smile some more and change the world. Yeah, let's teach them how to find the light. Help them find a way into the light. Don't find the light. Find a way into the light. Highway to the light. How to find the light. How to find the light. Oh yeah, it's a tangled web. We're sticking to it, yeah, we can't get our hands out, no. Yeah, grabbing you no matter where you go. You're stuck to their glue. Yeah, we've got to get control back. We've got to say no. Help them find a way into the light. How to find the light. Oh, don't give up on them, no. We still got time to get control back. So don't give up, no. Just open your heart and help them find the light. Help them find the light. Help them find the light. We got to help them find the light. Help them find the light. Help them find the light.
That was a freaking pick throw. That song's one of my faves, I gotta say. Is there a part where it's like, shut down, going around, move on, shut it on. I don't know, there's some crazy runs there in that song. Guys, we're 2 hours 50, 5 minutes into this. I think we're going to probably wrap up and then come back out a little, about 3 hours from now. I'm coming on for show number 2. This is awesome having Danny Coleman on with me. So, guys, if you have any requests for tonight, I'll make out the show pretty soon and put the thumbnail up. Throw some stuff up there. Share it. We'll be out for 2-3 hours tonight as well. And we're creating something. Actually, tonight we're doing a blizzard report. So I'll be out in the snow for that one. Green screening it. Anyway, guys, fam, and friends, let me run over here and see who's still on with us. If you're here, say goodnight or say goodbye for a short period of time here. Big Schnapp and my brother Sid. Big Schnapp. Thank you, Sid, for getting rid of Big Schnapp. I think. Anyway, look, at the end of the day, fam and friends, I will be back in just a couple hours. So until then, it's Mark Pyers. And it's Renaissance Man. Day 1125 in a row, part 2 in a couple hours, guys. I'll see you soon. I love you. It's Renaissance Man. You got to go away. Yeah, yeah.